Hi, I'm Doug Taylor, the CEO of the Smith Family, and welcome to Conversations with the Smith Family. Through these conversations, we look at work across Australia that's helping young people change their futures through the power of education. And today, I'm very pleased to be talking about the View Clubs of Australia on their 65th anniversary. View Clubs are focused on building connections between women and giving back through the work of the Smith Family. And to help me with this conversation, I'm joined by Leonie Green, and responsible for our relationships with View Clubs. So welcome, Leonie.
Thank you so much. This is an absolute pleasure to be part of, particularly because it's related to View, so close to my heart.
And so many good things to talk about. So 1960 View Club started in. What an incredible history.
I know, and what a groundbreaking activity for the Smith family to really instigate and be involved with. Women supporting women in the community, but for those that don't know, VIEW stands for the Voice, Interest, Education of Women. So it's really about women engaging with each other and their community and making a difference.
Yep, it's fantastic. And that difference is quite broad. So if you think about the way that View contributes to the work at the Smith family, I think about the sponsorships, the fundraising, the volunteering, and then the women's voice and how that's activated and creates change. So just to pull that out a little bit more, and particularly think about the sponsorship dimension and how that supports the work of the Smith family. Can you tell us about that?
My goodness, I always refer to the View Clubs as a gold standard sponsor, and they're the largest community sponsorship organisation that we have, and they're supporting close to 1,800 students around the country in all of the states and territories, which is just amazing. And to do that, that takes passion and commitment and enthusiasm from the women that are involved in the clubs, because they fundraise to raise the money for the sponsorship. And when you think about that, that's well in excess of $1 million a year that they're fundraising for the Smith family and for the young people. And when you go to a View Club or go to a gala day or engage with View women out in the community, they're always there with the young people at the centre of their thoughts and of their work and really wanting to make a difference. You know, their byline is making connections makes a difference. So whether that's connections to themselves, connections to the community, but also connections to the students. They really take a lot of time, energy and effort in writing to students, in sending them little gifts, little, opportunities to say good on you and good luck. So they are really committed to the work of the Smith family.
They are. And as I've met so many View Club members now in my time with the Smith family, there's a real understanding and passion for education and seeing the great value for them and their families, but also that desire to see that available for so many more young people. So clearly that drives a lot of that wonderful grassroots fundraising to support those sponsorships.
Yes, definitely. Seeing that problem, seeing that issue and deeply understanding it, because all of the women are either wives, sisters, aunties, grandmothers, so they understand that impact of, disadvantage or young people not having those things. So I remember at a convention many years ago when an alumni came to speak to them, and afterwards when he was talking to me, in the green room, as it is at the convention, he said, it's just like having a room full of aunties and grandmas. I feel the warm embrace and they are there, they're supporting me, they're encouraging me all the way through his education. And he's now gone on to be quite a successful lawyer and, a partner in a law firm. So it really shows what a difference connections make, and the caring and compassionate nature of the View women does actually make a huge difference.
Yeah, it sure does. And that's exactly the experience when you go to a View Club meeting. There's so much energy in the room.
I might interrupt you there, Doug, because on that point, remember in your first couple of months of being the CEO, and I said to you, there's a wonderful gala on in your hometown, down in the Southern Highlands. I said, come along. And the women were just so excited to have you walk into the room and to be there. And I can remember the energy that was around, welcoming you as a CEO. So it's not just for the students or for each other, it's for their broader community and the overall work. So I think we've all felt that warm embrace.
We have 14,000 View members and all that energy and passion. And of course, in thinking about technology too, Leonie, through COVID, we had to adapt our ways of working at the Smith family. What did View Clubs do?
Yeah, they did a marvellous job. was outstanding, and they were very early adopters in the space of technology and utilising Teams and Zoom to stay connected. And over the period of time, they were really connecting with each other and supporting each other. And where other clubs or other activities were perhaps waning or people falling off because of isolation, that wasn't the case with View. They were really connected and stayed that way. And I think, one of the great things about that was not only the fact that they're vibrant and up to date and willing to take on that challenge, but it really showed them what the importance of being digitally connected was about, and really got that personal understanding of the digital divide and, what that would mean if young people weren't connected and were feeling isolated. So when you put the ask out and we launched, the new digital program, they were straight onto that. And, within 12 months, they've raised just about $400,000. So it really shows their commitment and their dedication, but their deep understanding of the issues. And that's because they were there living, breathing it, and had the courage to step into that space themselves.
And of course, View clubs do a wonderful job in fundraising and for sponsorships and digital learning essentials and the like. But they're also active volunteers. And I think about our 5,500 volunteers that we have at the Smith family. There's a good number of View club members that are part of that group of volunteers. Tell us a bit about that and the sort of things they do.
Yeah. That's right. Volunteering is a big part of what they do. And that can be anything from supporting learning clubs and, going to schools and supporting the work in the schools, through coming into offices, any of our offices around the country, and supporting our staff in just some day-to-day activities in the offices. They work in some program ways, such as, iTrack being mentors, online mentors. So all the ways that volunteering is available in the Smith family, the View women are right there. If you think of 13,000 women, there's all sorts of skills and backgrounds. We've got women who've been very senior roles in departments of education and wanting to bring that skill of, coordination and knowledge in. And we've got others that have come from very different backgrounds. And a good example I would share with you is, most recently I was over in WA and Busselton was opening a new club, and their inaugural president, Pauline, got up and quite warmly and openly shared her story. And I think that speaks to the diversity of people that join View, from the high-ranking people coming out of, high-level executive jobs in departments of education or the like, through to women that have been working at home. But her story was that as a single parent and struggling, she went to the Smith family to ask for help. And she said the warm, generous nature of that help and non-judgmental nature of that help had really stuck with her and provided a great foundation for her. And now, as a grandmother who'd moved to the West, saw View clubs were opening up and thought, that's where I actually have to be, because she wants to give back to the Smith family and give back to her community. And she saw View as the way to do that, and also as a way to role model to her now grandchildren, the importance of community, making connections, making a difference, and giving back. I'm there because I want to give back. I want to be part of the community, and I want to be a role model for my own grandchildren.
Yeah.
So all of those dimensions play out in the way they volunteer and contribute.
Yeah, so many different dimensions, as you say, the giving, the fundraising, the volunteering, and right at the core of when View was started back in 1960 was really thinking about the voice of women and how that can be activated in our communities. Tell us a bit how that's played out over time as well in the work of View.
Yes, well, with the View, every couple of years there's a national conference, and we put for I call it we because I feel so connected to the organisation. The women put up resolutions to work through, and then when a resolution's voted on to say this is something we want to advocate for, the women then rally behind that, and they will advocate to government ministers, to local members, to their local community, and they advocate always about the work of the Smith family, but also around, their voice as women in the community, which is amazing. And I think it was only a couple of months ago, and, I was reading one of our internal newsletters and saw a couple of my colleagues had gone to an MP to talk about the work of the Smith family and talk about how we're in his electorate and the work we're doing. And as soon as they walked in, he said, I already know about the Smith family. He said, I know who you are. He said, come and look at this and get your photo taken here. And it was actually a certificate of appreciation from the View Club, because they'd been there talking to him about the Smith family, about View, and in turn he was supporting them with a whole range of, supports from his office, doing photocopying and other things. So we walked into a very warm welcome with somebody that's already had known us and known the value of our work.
So it's great to see the connections with local politicians and community groups, but I know that View also does a lot with local media as well.
I know, definitely they do. And we get regular reports coming in, what's happening in the media, and View is always in those reports, always mentioned. And when that's tallied up, over the last 12 months, they've had over 1,500 media mentions, which has reached over 3 million. I think it's close to 3.3 million readers. So an amazing readership and an amazing, energy of the women to be getting out there and engaging in media that way and advocating for the work of the Smith family and the support that the young disadvantaged students need.
We're so lucky to have View clubs working alongside the Smith family, connected in all of these communities. So Leonie, thinking about the 65 years of history, it's extraordinary. Tell us a bit about the future. How do you see the future of View clubs?
Yeah, I certainly see the future as very bright and very positive, because I think connections and the importance of connections are always going to be there. And I think, women want to support each other, want to support their communities. One of the things that really attracts the women is that it's an organisation with a purpose. And so the purpose is really core to the work they do. So supporting each other, supporting the Smith family. And so it actually adds to their overall life and what they're contributing to. So I don't see that changing anytime soon. And, the want of giving back, I don't see changing. That being said, there's always improvements being made. So over 65 years, the work that's done or the way we do it, as I said, through COVID, suddenly we embraced technology, and now team meetings are just a normal part of the way that the leadership team function and the way that they do. So the core values and the core purpose, I think, will be the same and will remain, but how that's expressed and delivered. The other thing I think with that is it makes me feel really excited that the View women are able to pick up and embrace change and want to be at the leading front of that. It's not an organisation that's sitting there going, well, we're not going to change. They want to be contemporary and relevant and vibrant.
Yeah, that's so healthy and exciting for us at the Smith family, because our friends in View are so important for our work today and into the future. So it's great that that's that sense of adaptation and also thinking about different ways of working into the future. On behalf of all of our colleagues here at the Smith family, and particularly the students and families that we support, happy 65th birthday and anniversary to all of our friends in View. We look forward to working with you now and into the future, and just really have an enormous sense of gratitude for your support for our work in the community. Thanks very much.